So this week, MotorMartin has been spending time in the incredible looking DS4 Prestige, and that styling, it takes your breath away. Extras such as the immense optional 19-inch matte grey diamond cut alloys that adorn the model on test create an aggressive look that, when combined with the pearlescent white paint and Perla Nera black contrast pack, left an impression that was difficult to shift. Indeed, MotorMartin's written review of this incredible car finished with the following: perhaps the last word for part 1 of DS4 Prestige, one of a kind, should be left to DS themselves, as they summed it up best when they shared with MotorMartin that DS is defined by the unique style and comfort delivered through refinement, attention to detail and technology. These elements are combined in an individually desirable way in each model. And in MotorMartin's opinion, these sentiments perfectly sum up the DS4. But it's time to look more in depth at that superb engine that defines this prestige model as much as any of the styling. The THP 210 S&S 1598 4-cylinder petrol engine is an absolute delight. I think what surprises most is that the first time you plant your foot through the carpet and the DS4 launches itself up the road with the power of 210 horses, a figure which, rather coincidentally, is the exact complement of horsepower produced at 6,000 RPM, the figure of 210 bhp doesn't sound that much when compared to some of the rather more excessively powered hot hatches around these days, but believe you me, it's more than enough to raise the hackles of all but the most inanimate of driver. It's the way that the DS is able to put that power to the tarmac that really is so impressive, as the 6-speed manual transmission allows for the correct ratio to be chosen, one that perfectly matches revs to road speed. The gear lever has a relatively short throw which accentuates its sporting feel, and yet the DS4 is more than capable of keeping its wilder nature perfectly in check during everyday traffic and commuting. Unlike some motors I could mention, you don't get the feeling that the DS only works in the higher reaches of the rev range, as it's still as comfortable to drive at 2/10 as it is at 10/10. A 0 to 62 time of 7.6 seconds gives you some idea of the acceleration available when the mood dictates, whilst top speed of 146 is surely enough for all that intend to stick purely to the roads rather than spend time on the track. What the DS4 does give you though when pressing on is a quite incredible and visceral oral feast. Watching the rather amazing blue highlighted rev counter swing rapidly round the outside edge of the dial whilst listening to the induction roar from somewhere up ahead is an absolute delight, and one that MotorMartin loved. Despite earlier suggestions that the DS4 is a really quite excellent commuting car, which it certainly is, the THP 210 engine has such character, presence and power that it presents itself as a more than equal partner to the innovative and exciting styling on offer. And MotorMartin loves the whole driving experience on offer from the DS. The steering is light and yet still delivers an astonishing amount of feel, almost as if the front wheels are directly connected to the driver, allowing you to accurately place the DS4 wherever you want to be on the road. The clever part though is that whilst the ride stands on the sporting side of the fence, it is certainly not uncomfortable, transmitting as it does just enough feedback to let you know what the car is doing underneath you, but not enough of the road's imperfections to present you with an uncomfortable ride. A brilliant compromise in MotorMartin's opinion. Now, the blue lighting on the dials directly in front of the driver look absolutely fantastic, and their effect on the interior of this rather special car gives it that premium feel. One can only imagine how many hours were spent during the design process where the correct hue of blue was carefully discussed before being chosen, and you know what? All that procrastination has had such a positive effect on how you feel about the cabin, as the time spent on an area where, let's be honest, you spend the vast majority of your time looking at, reaps serious rewards over time. In fact, the longer MotorMartin spent driving the DS4 Prestige, the more I liked those dials and how they showed yet again that the attention to detail lavished on the exterior of this French fancy is perfectly mirrored on the interior as well. Impressive indeed. Looking around the interior reveals further gems. There's the centrally mounted 7-inch colour touchscreen which allows you to control many of the functions in the new DS4. The touchscreen also controls the car's various settings, enabling you to set up the car to be just how you like it. Summing up the DS4 though is relatively easy. It really is a cut above the more traditional hatchback offerings from, dare I say, more than one mainstream manufacturer, and this really shows with an interior and exterior that prove that design and form can mix to create something really rather special. With an engine that provides ample and accessible power, a gearbox that allows you to feel each and every change, and a chassis that allows you to exploit all the potential, this really is superb. Well done, DS.